If you're an old school gamer, then I know you've had to play this a time or two. Crash Bandicoot, the 1996 retro version. Let's get into it. Crash Bandicoot. Crash was captured by Neocortex and subjected to the Evolvo Ray, which mutated him. Intended to be the general of Cortex's army of mutant animals, Crash was then subjected to the Cortex Vortex, a machine designed to brainwash him to be loyal to Cortex. Well, despite the warnings of Cortex's assistant Embryo about the machine not being prepared, Cortex goes through with the process, which fails and allows Crash to escape. He flees Castle Cortex by jumping out of a window and falling down into the ocean, leaving Tawna Bandicoot, a female bandicoot he developed an affection for, in the hands of the scientist. He then wakes up dazed and lost on the shore of Insanity Island, determined to save Tawna and stop Cortex's plans of world domination. He set off on a quest to traverse the Wumpa Islands and reach Castle Cortex. Nitrous Brio, better known as Embryo, is skilled in chemistry and biology, hence the pun embryo in his name. Using potions as well as devices such as the Evolve Ray and Envy, he is able to create enemy creatures or mutate them in various ways. He is also able to use potions to mutate himself into different forms, the most common one being a larger and muscular version of himself. He is the chief henchman of Neocortex, as well as the inventor of the Evolve Ray, used to create Crash Bandicoot and the other animal bosses in the game. Embryo first appears in the introductory cutscene during Crash's creation. He warns Cortex of the instability of the Cortex Vortex, a machine intended to brainwash Crash into being loyal to them. He's ignored, and Crash is rejected by the Vortex and escapes. Dr. Neo Periwinkle Cortex. He's a mad scientist who holds a grudge against humanity and attempts to take over the world by creating an army of hyper-intelligent animal soldiers.
Evolution.
However, one of said animal soldiers, a bandicoot we all know whose name, Crash, turned out to be a failed specimen and now constantly foils Cortex's plans. The lab assistants. The lab assistants were seen in the original Crash Bandicoot, where they are seen taking Tawna hostage. They served as henchmen for Dr. Cortex during the game. The lab assistants are found later on certain levels in the third island. They use different types of chemicals and electricity to attack Crash in these levels. Prepare the female Bandicoot. Tawna Bandicoot. Tawna Bandicoot was an ordinary bandicoot who was captured with her boyfriend, Crash Bandicoot, by Neocortex and Embryo and then mutated but not brainwashed. After Crash is placed and rejected by the Cortex Vortex, Crash escapes Cortex's laboratory, which leads Cortex to prepare to use the Cortex Vortex on Tawna, with the plot of the game being Crash racing to rescue Tawna from Cortex before she gets brainwashed. Crash eventually defeats Cortex and reunites with Tawna on top of his blimp as they fly into the sunset. Akuaku. Akuaku is a witch doctor spirit living in a wooden mask who guides Crash and his sister Coco and their friends as they defeat the forces of evil. After Crash escapes Cortex's castle and washes up on the beach, there he finds and frees a Aku from a crate who provides his magical services throughout the game, scattering Aku crates all across the 3 islands.
Uka Uka is free. No, it cannot be. Evil, great evil has come.
Tribesmen. The tribesmen are the native inhabitants of Insanity Island. Led by their chieftain Papu Papu, they thrive across the island, building wide-scale villages and fortresses to keep out evil geniuses and traveling crate salesmen. Papu Papu. Papu Papu is the leader of the tribesmen on Insanity Island and lives in the native village along with the other tribesmen. Papu Papu debuted in Crash Bandicoot as a villain and the very first boss of the game, and then kept his villainous role in his appearances since. Warthogs. Warthogs first appear as animals that Crash can ride on top of in the levels Hog Wild and Whole Hog. Together they must dodge spiky pillars, natives, and other warthogs being roasted on moving sticks. Warthogs also appear as enemies in the bridge levels Road to Nowhere and the High Road, in which they run back and forth and are impossible to defeat. If the player tries walking on the ropes or run alongside them, they will turn and butt crack. Ripperoo. Ripperoo is a blue kangaroo and an antagonist in the Crash Bandicoot series. Having turned out to be insane, he was restrained with a straitjacket after his creation by Neocortex and Embryo. He later underwent psychotherapy and became an esteemed academic. He has an affinity for explosives such as TNT and nitro crates. Koala Kong. Koala Kong is a recurring character in the Crash Bandicoot series. He first appears in the Crash game as the third boss. He's a bodybuilding koala inspired by characters played by Hollywood star actor Sylvester Stallone. Being an antagonist, he is generally characterized as athletic, self-absorbed, and easily outwitted. Pinstripe Potoru. Pinstripe Potoru was an inspired character by mafia movies, tropes, and from pop culture. And as such, he is often characterized as trigger happy. Pinstripe debuted in the first Crash Bandicoot game as a villain and the fourth boss, and has typically held antagonist roles in his appearances since.